Good evening, everybody. Welcome into this week's edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coet. We have a ton of sports content to get to on the program this week, but before we get to that, we have some developing news regarding the administration over at Milford High School. It was recently announced that the current Milford High School principal, Carolyn Bannock, will be leaving the school district as of July 1st to take on a new position within the Framingham school system. Since that announcement was made, the school has been going through the process of finding a replacement. Late this week, Superintendent Dr. Kevin McIntyre announced 3 finalists for the role. Those finalists are Ms. Larissa Doherty, who currently serves as an interim principal within the Boston Public School System, Dr. Robert McCarty, who most recently served as the principal of a charter school in Lynn, and Mr. Joshua Otlin, who is currently the assistant principal of Hudson High School. As part of the final decision-making process, the school department will host a parent and community forum to meet with the 3 finalists. The forum will be held this Tuesday, May 23rd at the Milford High School Media Center from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And now let's fill you in on the rest of what's coming up tonight in our top stories rundown. Tonight we have a comprehensive update on the MHS baseball and softball teams. First, we'll show you must-see highlights from the baseball team's senior night game against Hopedale. Then hear from the Scarlet Hawks and their head coach as they discuss the success the baseball team has enjoyed over the course of this season. And later tonight, we'll take a look at softball highlights as Milford welcomed in their longtime rival, the North Attleboro Lady Rocketeers. As we told you on last week's show, the Milford baseball team stood just 1 victory away from getting themselves right back into the MIAA tournament after ending their 37-year playoff streak last season. Last Friday, the Hawks were at their home field for their annual senior night matchup with Hopedale. Let's take a look at how things went down when these 2 neighboring rivals took the field under the lights at FINA. It is always one of the most anticipated events of the spring sports calendar when Milford and Hopedale get together for one of their annual senior night games played under the lights at FINA Field. Seniors and families for both teams were honored with pregame festivities, and then the 2 neighboring schools took the field in a late-season non-conference matchup. Both teams featured stellar starting pitching, with Aiden Wild taking the mound for the home team and senior Sean Calnan towing the rubber for the Blue Raiders. After pitching a scoreless first inning, Wild would be greeted with a deep drive to right field off the bat of Hopedale's Sam Parker. It would go as a leadoff triple to immediately put the visitors in business. Next batter, Mike Murphy, would hit a grounder to short that would get the run in, giving Hopedale the first lead. Wild would shut down the inning from there, getting Matt Lucchini and Matt Capitos both on strikeouts. Alex Cody would lead off the next inning, and he would earn his team-leading 15th walk of the season to quickly put the tying run on. After Cody stole second, Kevin Cambrola sent a weak grounder to third. Capitos would rush an off-balance throw to first that would sail past the bag, and that would allow Cody to score to tie the game at 1. As Aiden Wild took the mound in the third, he'd start the inning off the same way he ended the previous frame, with back-to-back strikeouts. It looked like Wild was on his way to an easy inning, but Hopedale would collect a 2-out single before number 3 hitter Shane McQuarrie would send the ball down into the left field corner. It looked like Milford might have a play at the plate with the runner trying to score from first, but Zach Tamani would airmail the throw to the backstop, allowing the go-ahead run to cross the plate. After scoring another run in the 4th to take a 3-1 lead, Hopedale hoped to break the game open as their first 2 batters reached to start the 5th. But Aiden Wild would do a masterful job escaping the inning, getting consecutive strikeouts of Brian Espinette, Sam Parker, and Mike Murphy to keep the Milford deficit at 2. Meanwhile, the Hawks would struggle to generate offense against Sean Calnan for much of the game. Calnan would limit Milford to just 3 hits over the first 5 innings. He'd strike out 5 batters on the day, including this K of Alex Cody, with the tying runs on in the bottom of the 5th. One of the key plays in the game would unfold as Milford put the tying runs on with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th. Matt Anantonio served as the pinch runner at first, and he would get caught far off the bag after the pitch to the plate. Watch as Matt Lucchini's throw clearly gets there ahead of the runner, but the infield umpire rules Anantonio safe. A closer look does not show definitively whether the first baseman applied the tag before Antonio's foot touches the bag, and much to the dismay of the entire Hopedale dugout, the safe call would stand. It proved to be a pivotal turning point in the game.
Antonio lucky to still be on the bases. As now Cambrola gets the bunt down in front of the plate. The runner coming home as the throw pops out of the glove of the first baseman. Everyone's safe, a run scores, and Antonio moves on to third base. And we go back to the top of the order for Ryan Gonsalves, who's hit with the first pitch, and that will force in the tying run. 2 runs home already in the inning as Masick and Antonio have scored, and now Arcudi drops this ball out into left field for a hit. Another run to the plate as this ball now gets away from Murphy out into left. And more damage done on the scoreboard as Arcudi ends up at second base. 2-run score for the Scarlet Hawks, and they take a 5-3 lead. Cody with a fly ball out to left center field, and a sliding attempt for Mike Murphy, but that's down for a hit. Wild will cross the plate with the 8th Milford run, an RBI single for Alex Cody. That was 5th plate appearance of the evening. He drives this ball out to right field, a long run for Swift, and he leaps, cannot make the catch. Watson comes in to score. 2 runs will cross the plate as Mobilia touches home on the double for Ryan Gonsalves that ups the lead for Milford to 12-3.
After 5 innings of frustration, the Hawks would unload for 11 runs in the bottom of the 6th, sending 15 batters to the plate in the inning. With the win firmly within their grasp, Nate Irwin would record the final 3 outs of the 7th, and in the end, the Scarlet Hawks would walk away with a 12-3 victory. With the win, Milford officially clinches a spot in the MIAA tournament. What a wild game as Milford found a way to turn a classic pitcher's duel into a blowout victory. As the team gathered for practice earlier this week, I joined them over at FINA to talk about that crazy senior night victory and what it means to the program to be back in the playoffs. Last season, Milford found themselves on the outside looking in of the playoffs for the first time since the late 70s. This season, Milford High School has earned their way right back into tournament play. It's an accomplishment that means a lot to everyone on the team, particularly the seniors.
I mean, 10-5, just qualified for the playoffs. I mean, that's really exciting. I mean, just doing our job, you know. But a lot better than last season, you know. I mean, everyone on this team's really together. I mean, everyone's really friends and close. So it's been pretty good so far.
It's an amazing feeling. It was really hard on everybody losing the streak after 37 years, and to get back in it just the year after. Could really see the change in everyone's attitude just coming into the year, and now even more after the 10th win.
Obviously we got off to a rough start going 0-2, but since then we really picked it up, and just to clinch a playoff berth so early is really helpful. We can kind of focus on getting maybe a home playoff game.
Losing is contagious, right? And it kind of took its toll last year on everybody, right? So came back with a different attitude this year, I think, and it shows. So it's what you put into it, and these guys have put a lot into getting better and getting to the point where we're at now. So, and it's paid off.
It was only fitting that Milford officially punched their ticket to the playoffs with a win against rival Hopedale on senior night. It was an experience the players will not soon forget.
I mean, hey, you got a crowd here. You got to play towards the crowd. I mean, you could hear our fans. I mean, the jungle really came out to support, so you got to show off for them. I mean, down 3-1 going into the 6th. I mean, that was a big inning. Scored 11 runs there, so. That was really good, that inning.
It is different just because it's a night game and it's under the lights. Everyone's here watching you play, and it's just a hard adjustment for some people that haven't played under the lights. That's why we had practice earlier, the night before, practice getting pop flies and stuff like that. So it was a good adjustment, though.
We'll take wins, you know, however they come. Our fan section definitely helped us out, so credit to them. But it was a good game, and glad we could get the win.
Every time we scored a run, everyone was at home plate, reaching the guy, telling him good job and stuff like that. Coach Pelly had to keep us back for a little bit, and we were all into it. The fan section was getting us pumped up, and it was just a good time.
The core of seniors on this year's team were on a mission to turn the program around after last year's disappointing finish. It's been easy for Coach Pellegrini to see the change in his players, both on the field and off.
Picking each other up. So if, somebody doesn't make the play, then next play we turn a double play, okay? So it's been a consistency, though. There's no letdown, where last times where we had a lot of episodes of that. So I think you can see that in the seniors. They've been there before. They know what it takes to win. We always say, hey, get upset for 10 seconds. Once that's 10 seconds over, let's get back to normal. Let's go win a game. So you've seen a lot of that, and that's become contagious itself. So
pitching has been one of the keys to Milford's success this season. Alex Masick has led the way as the staff ace, with Aiden Wild and Nate Irwin contributing heavily. I asked Coach Pellegrini what has allowed his group of starters to enjoy such consistency.
Just throwing strikes, they've kept their pitch counts low. Masick probably had a high on the year of 100, and I think we threw him 110 pitches one game. But other than that, it's been below 90, and that goes for Aiden and Nate. So strikes has been key. Mixing up, varying the pitches has been key. So they've been, our depth is not great. So that's been a huge help with those three, just pounding the strike zone. And we really haven't been able to go, we haven't went into our pen. So that's been key for us.
This year's baseball season gave us one last chance to see the dynamic duo of Zach Tamani and Anthony Arcudi teamed up in athletic competition.
You could see it in basketball too. You got to show the emotion. You got to show your opponents how you're feeling, really gets on their nerves, and that's what you got to do.
He's the loud one, obviously. We're kind of back and forth with each other all the time. We do butt heads a lot, but he's the one he's the outward, tell you what to do, help you get back on track, and I'm more the lead by example, quieter one. So we feed off each other in a way when it comes to leadership and winning, really.
With a handful of games left in their season, the team is looking to finish strong as they hope to claw their way to the top of the division standings.
We're definitely focusing on winning the Davenport right now, and I don't think we're looking beyond that. We're just trying to win out, see how many games we can win with the rest of our season.
That'd be huge for us as a team, especially Coach Pellegrini too. After last year, it mean a lot to me too. I just competed for a league championship in golf, came up short. Same thing in basketball, came up short. So it really mean a lot to me and all the seniors on this team if we really came out with a league championship.
It's a compliment to this group here. So they knew we had a mission to accomplish this year, and that was to get back there. So they've worked hard. The attitude's been totally different. It's been great, and it's been fun at the same time. So we're not done yet. Guys know 10-5. We'd like to get a home game, so that means we got to win some more ball games, and that's what we're focused on right now.
First playoff game was sophomore year, and that was a good experience. It was a good atmosphere. And with basketball this year, I'm sure if we make it a home playoff game, it'll be a fun time.
And so while the Scarlet Hawks inch closer to postseason competition, junior captain Aiden Wild has been turning heads as he competes against some of the top high school sluggers in the state. I asked the junior captain and his head coach to talk more about this unique competition.
Coach Pelly just told me about a home run derby that, was open to high schoolers, and he kind of explained it to me, and something I want to do, get involved with.
Zach Brown, he's the head coach at Franklin. He reached out to everybody in the South sectional, so that's everybody from down the Cape, from Nauset to Plymouth to whoever might be down there. All the teams in our league and the South Shore. And it was an open invite. Anybody who wanted to donate $10, go down and participate, any age group, for any high school kids. So I mentioned it to Aiden. He said he'd absolutely want to do it, so he brought Tyler down there with him. There was I think there was like 20 other guys that participated, and Aiden clearly ran away with it. He's not a home run hitter. Like I said, he's a gap-to-gap guy, but he was hitting the ball. He said he was seeing the ball very well, so just very excited for him. He finally got a little ink, which I think he's deserved. Caught the Daily News eyes, caught the Boston Globe's eyes, so he's a great player, great kid. And I'm glad he's on my team.
There were 17 other high schoolers who I competed against, and my first round we got a couple practice swings, which for me honestly sucked, but I ended up putting my first actual swing out, so got that out of the way and had a pretty good round.
They go to they'll be at Fenway June 3rd They'll be facing the winners from the West Division, the Central Division, and the North Division, and then members that were still in high school that made it there last year. So I guess the reigning champ is a kid from Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols. He'll be there. So he'll be going against 8 other kids to vie for the title for the home run champ for Massachusetts.
I'm excited just to stand on the field. Just hitting, a home run derbies. In addition to that, it's going to be great. I'm swinging for the monster, so we'll see how that goes.
It's pretty exciting. I know he's very excited, so as we all are here.
So Milford fans now know they'll be watching playoff baseball and playoff softball when the MIAA tournament begins a little less than 2 weeks from now. Speaking of Milford softball, after rain forced yet another home game to be postponed on Monday, the girls were back on their home field Wednesday afternoon to take on the North Attleboro Lady Rocketeers. Milford scored 14 runs in a victory over North earlier this season, but these fierce rivals have been alternating wins and losses against one another dating back to the 2014 season. Could Milford make it 2 in a row against North Attleboro? Here are the highlights. Earlier this season, the Lady Hawks pounded North Attleboro for 14 runs on 17 hits. Milford looked to earn the sweep of the season series on Wednesday as they welcomed the Lady Rocketeers to the MHS softball field. North would threaten in the first inning, getting a runner to third base with 2 outs against starter Kelly Reichert, but Kelly would induce a weak ground ball off the bat of the next batter to bring an end to the inning. In the circle for North would be their freshman phenom Bella Erty, who entered the game with 8 wins and the second lowest ERA in the league. Milford would get to the freshman in the bottom of the first. It started with a walk to Kate Irwin before the Hockomock League leading hitter Emily Pierre Gustavo would shoot a ball into the left center gap that would go as an RBI double. Milford would score a second run in the inning off an error to take an early 2-0 lead. In the second inning, Erty was able to get the first 2 outs quickly, but the top of the order would once again pose a problem for the freshman. Kate Irwin would beat out an infield single to extend the inning. She'd steal second base to once again place a runner in scoring position for Pierre Gustavo. 17 extra base hits for Emily on the season as she gets into this ball, sends it in the air out to left center field. A diving attempt for Capobianco, but she cannot make the catch. Irwin scores. Pierre Gustavo stops at second, and that will make it a 3-0 lead for the Lady Hawks. North would start to push back in the top of the third. It all started with a walk to the number 9 hitter to open the inning. 2 batters later, Megan Barlow would hit one over the head of Maggie Farrell for a double that placed 2 in scoring position. We would then see some uncharacteristically sloppy play defensively as Pierre Gustavo would rush this throw on a grounder hit by Liz Morehouse. The throw would be offline, allowing North to score their first run. Bella Erty would then collect an RBI on a groundout, and suddenly the Milford lead was down to 1. The score would stay put until the bottom of the fourth, when once again it was the top of the lineup who would get the job done for Milford. Irwin would notch a bunt single to reach base for the 3rd time, setting the table for Milford's big bats. Here's the 2-1. This is hit hard off the glove of Misselli at second base. Bonvino comes in to score. It's a single this time for Emily Pierre Gustavo, but she drives in her 3rd run of the day. Maggie Farrell digging in on the left side. She swings at the first pitch and hits it back up the middle. That's through for a base hit. They'll wave Irwin to the plate. Here comes the throw. Morehouse tries to cut it off. She can't do it, and the runners advance. Once again, facing a 3-run deficit, North would look to do some damage in the 5th. Megan Barlow would reach on a single to place a runner on ahead of number 3 hitter Liz Morehouse. A play that helped lead the way for North Attleboro, scoring 2 runs here. The ground ball back to the circle, and Milford is able to turn the 1 to 6-3 inning-ending double play. You don't see a lot of double plays on the softball field, but a great play there. Kelly Reichert with good quick hands getting that one started. A good turn at second base for Pierre Gustavo. And an easy double play that shuts down a possible threat for North Attleboro in the 5th inning. North would continue to make life difficult for Kelly Reichert in the 6th. With a runner on 3rd and 1 out, Ashley Cangiano would send a high fly ball to center. Irwin would make the catch, but it would be deep enough for the runner to score, tightening the game to 5-2. Kelly would minimize the damage in the frame, ending it on this ground ball back to the circle. As Milford came to bat in the 6th, Bella Erty would once again face the heart of Milford's order, led by the red-hot bat of Emily Pierre Gustavo. Here
Gustavo coming to the plate with runners on base in each of her first 3 at-bats, driving in runs. Here she sends one deep out to left field over the head of Cangiano, and extra bases once again for Emily Pierre-Gustavo. She cruises into second base with her 3rd double of the game. Trying to hang tough with the 0-2 count, and sends this one a tapper over the glove of the pitcher, and that goes out into center field. They will score Pierre-Gustavo, who comes around from second base. That took a high bounce in front of the pitcher circle, went over the glove of Bella Erdy, and then out into center. And that gives Milford now a 6-3 lead.
After 6 solid innings from Reichert, Coach DeVito would send out his senior captain, Allie Atherton, to finish off the North Bats in the 7th. Allie was on point as always as she set down the Rocketeers 1-2-3, bookending the frame with strikeouts. The Lady Hawks continue to roll. They claim their 13th league win of the season and their 17th consecutive victory as they defeat North Attleboro by a final score of 6-3. It is certainly exciting with the spring sports regular season coming down to the wire. Milford TV had the opportunity to cover a pair of senior night games just today. We just wrapped up coverage of the softball team's senior night game against Foxborough. We also were fortunate to be in the Milford gym to cover a special senior night boys volleyball match against BC High. We'll finish out the regular season next week covering the baseball team's final 2 home games against Sharon on Monday and King Philip on Wednesday. Remember, you can check out all of our full game coverage for this spring sports season over on our educational channel and on YouTube. And now let's get to this week's upcoming events. Here is your final reminder that coming up this Saturday, all local residents are invited to Town Park to attend the 2nd annual Celebrate Milford. Enjoy live musical performances at the Pavilion, enjoy a drink at the beer garden, sample delicious food from local vendors, and partake in exciting activities all throughout the day. Celebrate Milford takes place this Saturday, May 20th, all around Milford Town Park from 10 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. All proceeds from the event will benefit local organizations here in Milford. For more information, log on to celebratemilford.com. Coming up on Sunday, local musicians, fans, and supporters of the greater Milford music scene will gather at Liz's Diamond in Hopedale as MyFM 101.3 hosts the 6th annual Local Music Awards. The evening will feature 10 live performances, and over 30 awards will be presented to local artists and supporters of the local music scene. The LMAs are taking place this Sunday, May 21st, over at Liz's Diamond in Hopedale. Doors will open at 4 p.m., with the official award ceremony beginning at 4:30 p.m. Everyone 21 and older is invited to attend, and there is no charge for admission. And coming up on Monday, the town of Milford will be holding its annual Spring Town Meeting. There are many important town issues spread across this spring's 44-article town meeting warrant. Those issues include setting the town's budget for the next fiscal year. Town meeting is being held on Monday, May 22nd, inside Milford Upper Town Hall beginning at 7:30 p.m. As you could see on our upcoming events, the next several days will be absolutely jam-packed with happenings all around town. We'll try to recap as many of them as we can here on the Informer next week, and we'll also continue to get you ready for the MIAA playoffs with one last round of regular season highlights. It should be a fun one next week. We hope you will join us then. Until next time, from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.